Ladenson. I've been in API meetings since API was founded back in 1991. For over 40 years, I was a professor in the humanities department at the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. And I specialized in ethics, political philosophy, social philosophy. I also have a law background, and for 20 years was a special education due process hearing officer in the state of Illinois. And I'm here to talk about the Ethics Bowl, which I was a key person involved in creating it, in developing it, and organizing it. A member of the board of our Center for Ethics at IIT at a brainstorming session threw out the idea, why don't we have an ethics bowl? And my colleague Vivian Weil, who was the director of the Ethics Center, said, yes, let's run with it. And I didn't know what was going on, and I thought it was bizarre at the time. But to make a very long story short, something about the idea of adapting the old College Bowl format from television to make it relevant to the subject of ethics resonated with me. And I played around with it. I developed a set of rules and a format for an ethics bowl, a trial ethics bowl session at Illinois Tech, and it went from there. The very first ethics bowl had some very, let me put it this way, it had some very serious gaps and omissions in the rules and procedures and format. And at times during that first ethics bowl, which was something that we organized on the fly at IIT, we recruited students to be on teams. And we recruited also 3 distinguished persons from the Chicago area to be judges. But beyond that, we had very little worked out. Most importantly, we hadn't worked out the criteria of evaluation. And as a result, understandably, our distinguished judges decided they couldn't possibly rate the students. So it fell to yours truly, who was moderating the event. And as a result, predictably, I made a number of inconsistent judgments, which created, I'll just say, vigorous disagreements. And I felt at the time the way a producer of a media program must feel when she watches this carefully planned activity implode before her very eyes with millions watching. But the audience began to argue with the teams, and at one point, one of the judges got into a verbal spat with a representative from our campus ROTC about sexual harassment in the Navy. And I just felt like sinking into the floor. But to my incredible surprise, when it was over, it was clear everybody loved it. So when it was all over, the idea of making this really into something that made sense educationally just stuck with me. And throughout the year, I pondered how that could be done. And at the end of the year, I had worked, this was in 1994, I had worked out a provisional pattern for how an ethics bowl would actually proceed. And I tried it out in my ethics class, and it seemed to work very well. And really, the rest is history. In 1997, we had the first API-IEB in its current form. I think we had 32 participating teams at the championship, and nationwide, about 80 or 90 schools took part in it. Since that time, since 1997, the API-IEB has continued to grow and flourish. Now, I believe the current number is somewhere in the area of 150 schools throughout the United States that take part in the API-IEB. And in the period since the first API-IEB in its expanded form took place in 1997, a number of the Ethics Bowl has grown, it's expanded. Our API colleague, Lisa Lee, did a research, and according to her study, I think there are now 18 Ethics Bowl competitions functioning throughout the world, and 7 of them are outside the United States.
It's terrific.
And okay, something important. Oh yes, the most significant of the offshoots of API, I shouldn't say offshoots, because all of these other ethics bowls are organized and function independently of the API-IEB. And the most important, I can say, among them is the National High School Ethics Bowl, which is headquartered at the Parr Center of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And it has vast, large amount of participation. It's roughly double the number of teams in the API-IEB. I think it's something like 330 high schools throughout the United States take part in the API-IEB. I think what's truly exceptional about Ethics Bowl is that the whole thing is 100% volunteer. I think paid staff consists of some 2 very able people who deal with administrative tasks at the Association for Practical and Professional Ethics. But from the top all the way down to the ground, it's volunteer faculty, which I think is a tremendous testimony to the kind of commitment and interest that Ethics Bowl inspires. I was very deeply honored some years ago that an award that's given out annually at the Ethics Bowl for the team whose conduct, whose interactions with the other teams during the competition best exemplifies the spirit of the Ethics Bowl, of collegiality, of careful thought, of the ideals of ethical understanding, which I'll talk about shortly. An award is given to a team that exemplifies those ideals best by a vote of its peer competitors. And I was very deeply honored that award was named in my honor. I remember feeling a little embarrassed at the time, but that it was announced. But I think that was because I just didn't fully understand the importance of that award. Hadn't really come home to me, and I'd say it means a very great deal to me. So what is ethical understanding then? And I believe, and I think many people connected with the Ethics Bowl believe it consists to a very large extent in having some capacity to view from the inside the ethical outlooks of people who disagree with you. And that means not simply being aware of what these people have said or what they've written, or being able to develop nifty debaters' responses to the viewpoints they hold, but really looking inside the other view and trying to understand it from the other person's way of looking at the world. And, okay, so very difficult.